speechwriter to George W. Bush. So, I mean, people from all walks of life losing their jobs because of these vile posts on social media. I mean, clearly celebrating violence reflects some sort of sickness in America.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'm wondering, is that just being reflected on social media, or is it being driven by social media?
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think back to
But yeah, because if you're not getting in trouble other than like people on the internet going after you and making you lose your job, and these platforms allowing you to sit here and advocate for death and violence, of course it's both.
October 7 terrorist attacks. And many of us, I think you or I, were shocked at the level of anti-Semitism that came out. It was like we had lifted up a rock and all these anti-Semites came scurrying out.
Yeah, I saw the blades. They look real
exposing
good. They
themselves,
look cool.
celebrating
Batman
the death on October 7th, celebrating the Hamas attack, calling for the death of the destruction of Israel. And it's like, where did all these anti-Semites come from? And I think it's a very similar phenomenon that's happening here, which is that after Charlie Kirk's assassination, a lot of these horrible people have come out of the woodwork and exposed themselves as truly hating conservatives. It's not that they disagree. One of my kids, you know, the interesting thing about Charlie, he had such an influence with the young people. This was a news event where my kids told me about it before I learned about it. And one of my kids said to me, you know, they want us dead. I think there's a lot of young people.
That's the scary part about it. Is it sets a different kind of principle whenever somebody gets shot and killed, and then you've got these people that are so bold as to get online and cheer for it and not think for a second that they're going to get in any kind of trouble for cheering it. The amount of influence these people think they have isn't what they actually have. And they're finding that out real quick.
Who are looking at, and they see it's probably even worse than the polls, because they're experiencing this on TikTok and other social media.
So there are, granted, some celebrities who are doing this, but for the most part, these are people,
just normal people.
Nobody knows who they are, and yet they decide to sit in their car and share their most intimate thoughts on TikTok, as vile as those thoughts are. What's driving that? Is it the addiction of social media? Is it some pathological, narcissistic desire to be noticed? What is it?
Yes. I think you've nailed it on the head. And what I found fascinating was the first day after Charlie's death, you saw all these people posting these messages, and then the next day they went out and posted these videos complaining about getting fired. It's like, what do you look?
That's what you get.
What do you expect to happen? I mean,
you're glorifying violence.
Imagine if we didn't see this on the right, but imagine if after the George Floyd killing,
Wild Weiss had a guy joking about it to my face at work because he hates his dad and his conservative. He is a conservative, and me and a co-worker had to tell him to shut up regardless of how he feels. You can't kill it. That's right, you can't. What really kills me is people are so... I remember back whenever I was working in like the normal like job workforce, right? Whenever I was working at Walmart, don't ever bring up politics. Ever. Like, you wouldn't do that at a date. Why the hell would you do it at work? Are you dumb? Like, seriously, come on.
People had gone on and say George Floyd was a POS and like that. I'm glad he's dead.
Can't advocate for death, man. It doesn't matter what kind of piece of crap. Now, if he killed somebody, I strongly believe an eye for an eye. That's different. The guy never even advocated for violence. He said, forgive your enemy because it makes them matter. It's so stupid.
I hope all black people get killed. I think we need more death of black people in this country. Do you think anybody would have employed them ever again?
No.
You go out and you celebrate an assassination, you're going to get fired. And you should.
It's interesting that social media is becoming much more callous. People used to hide behind the anonymity of screen names to say they're vile and hateful things. Now they take their phone and they do a selfie video about it. They post it under their own name.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care if they're anonymous or not anymore. They're out there.
That's right. Politics and religion don't ever bring up at jobs. Ever. That is the quickest way to either get fired or get into an altercation. Don't ever do that. They could be your best friend in the whole wide world at work. But the minute you bring up something that you disagree with, and it happens a lot with politics and religion, it goes from 1 to 1,000 in an instant.
Doing this rhetoric and they're putting their name to it. What has fundamentally changed?
Well, first of all, I think some of them are regretting it now because they're finding out that they're no longer employable. And by the way, it's not just like this is not a problem just on the fever swamps. These are doctors, nurses, college
Teachers.
professors, teachers,
Firefighters, EMTs, paramedics. Disgraceful, by the way. You should be ashamed of yourself.
One of them was the head of a school, like a superintendent of a school system. I mean, these are the people who are responsible for caring for us when we're hurt, for teaching our children, for educating the next generation. And they're celebrating the assassination of somebody just because they didn't agree.
You can't even take a picture of yourself if you're a teacher holding an alcoholic beverage. It's instantaneous termination. You really thought that it was going to be okay for you to sit here and advocate for death and violence as a superintendent or a teacher and think you were going to get away with it? Are you dumb? Come on. What's that? Come on.
Somebody who treated them with so much respect and humanity despite his differences. One of the things that distinguished Charlie is that he went and he treated everybody with respect. He went out and wanted to engage people who disagreed with him and affirm their humanity.
Okay, so there's all these calls to lower the temperature, right? You got John Fetterman saying you've got to stop calling conservatives fascists. You can't do that.
I think he's right. I think you've got to stop. You've got to cut this in the butt. You need to stop calling people names like fascists and Nazis and all this crap, because we live in a time where it's becoming more desensitized. No one cares because it's just a word. And when you call people these names, you're charging up an already incredibly gassed up and charged political situation. You got to stop doing this, man. Act civil. Whatever happened to, like, civil talking? Enough of this nonsense, this childish behavior, because that's what it is. It's childish behavior. Come on with this crap.
I want to finish
These are supposed to be people that are running the country. These people are like 50 to 60 years old. Like, come on. Like, it's so stupid.
Randy Weingarten from the American Federation of Teachers is hosting a seminar tomorrow.
It's like these people just don't have any morals anymore.
At 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time, Teachers Against Fascists.
Oh, give me a break.
No, it's an interesting, it is a problem. There is political violence, but it is a problem on the left. When a YouGov poll asked, do you support using violence against people for political beliefs? 9 out of 10 conservatives said no, they don't support that. Almost a quarter of people
said yes.
Very liberal said yes, and another 20% said that they weren't sure.
What do you mean you're not sure?
People who consider themselves very liberal either support or are indifferent to political violence. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, and the younger generations are the ones for whom it's most acceptable, which is really frightening. Mark, always good to talk to you.
Thank you
so much. Appreciate it.
I didn't mean to do that. Oops.